reduced to about 45,000. And in the next 2 weeks, there'll be no backlog of passports in our house. So I want to say there's a lot of work going on with all arms of government, with the legislature, with the executive, to ensure that there's a proper cleanup of Nya House. So I want to say that we have ordered for new printers. We have also ordered for enough booklets for Kenyans, and that going forward, applying for a passport will take you a maximum of 7 days to get. And we are saying, even going forward, we believe that it is even possible to get a passport within 3 days. We are going to introduce services like express services to ensure that Kenyans are able to get passports on time, and that it is possible with the current arrangements which you have put in place, with the PPP arrangements which you have put in place. I want to assure the country that in the next few months, you'll no longer have to wait for your passport for a long time to get it. You'll get it in record time, either 3 days or maximum within 7 days.
As the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition and the Kenya Kwanza Alliance finally appended their signatures on the agendas for the National Dialogue Committee, one of the key issues was on electoral injustices, including electoral injustices and related matters. This includes the reconstitution of the IEBC and the delimitation of boundaries. In less than 8 months, the law requires that the boundary review be done, as the deadline is March 2024. And as Victor Nzobeli reports, the country stares at a constitutional crisis at the electoral agency as it remains dysfunctional.
The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission currently has no commissioner and is run by Secretariat led by the CEO, Marjan Hussein Marjan, as former chair Wafula Chebukati, and Commissioners Abdi Guliye and Boya Mulu's term came to an end early January. On the other hand, the Cherera Four, led by Juliana Cherera, Francis Wanderi, Irene Masit, and Justice Nyang'aya, were ejected from office on grounds of election and constitution fraud. The Constitution, under Chapter 7, Article 2, provides for periodic review of the names and boundaries of constituencies at intervals of not less than 8 years and not more than 12 years. Furthermore, Article 3 states that the Commission shall review the numbers, names, and boundaries of wards periodically. However, the country now stares at a constitutional crisis as the deadline for a demarcation of electoral boundaries nears, while the electoral agency remains debilitated. With barely 7 months to the end of the set deadline, little or no preparations are underway by the IEBC to perform this constitutional duty. The IEBC CEO Marjan Hussein Marjan has warned of a looming crisis to meet the constitutional deadline as the commission remains crippled. The CEO admits that public participation for the review needs to be spearheaded by the commission and not the secretariat. The delimitation of boundaries is a complex exercise and requires the commission to move across the country for public views and other experts to inform the review. Under Article 5, Chapter 7 of the Constitution, it states that the boundaries review shall be such that the inhabitants in the constituency is nearly as possible equal to the population quota, but the number of inhabitants of a constituency may be greater or lesser than the population quota. Given the surge from the last census, the population quota increased to 165,015, up from 133,000 that informed the 290 constituencies in 2010. This is arrived at by dividing the country's population of 47,564,296 by 290 constituencies. The catch here is that the Constitution caps the number of constituencies at 290 as stated in Article 1, Chapter 7 of the Constitution. This means that any additional constituencies must be subjected to a constitutional amendment, but does not require a referendum. The Constitution requires the commissioners led by the chairman to spearhead the boundary delimitation, but with their absence, concern is growing amongst stakeholders. A political standoff between President William Ruto and Raila Odinga has stalled the recruitment of new commissioners. Already boundary tussles have been witnessed across some counties. In Migori, for instance, the Kajulu subclan of Kanyamkago clan of Uriri subcounty and the Kanyor subclan of the larger Kadem clan of Nyatike subcounty have had boundary disputes. Residents of Meru Isiolo boundary have also decried boundary conflicts in the area. The commissioners are supposed to approve the budget, plan of action, and supervise the entire delimitation exercise. However, that remains to be seen, as the electoral agency remains dysfunctional. Victor Enzobeli for EBN TV.
To the newspapers, I've got the Daily Nation, the Standard, and the Star. So I'd love us to take a look at who is making headlines and why, and what's at the center of the national debates. For the last couple of days, or weeks at least, we've been speaking about the Mumias Sugar saga, the disappearance and appearance of businessman Rai, the Mambo Matatu phrase by President William Ruto. So it is developing, and perhaps this will be quite interesting as we look forward to what happens as well next week. So back down, the Daily Nation reads, farms had challenged 20-year lease awarded to Uganda's Sarai Group. How tycoon lost vicious sugar battle. So days after President William Ruto issued a warning to farms and individuals that had sued Mumias Sugar to either withdraw their cases or face consequences, billionaire businessman Jaswant Rai yesterday followed in the footsteps of Dubai-based Vatox Resources Incorporation, dropping all applications that were pending against the miller at the Court of Appeal. Question is, just what happened? A story that is on page 6, 7, and 8 of the Daily Nation that perhaps reflects, that perhaps reflects what President William Ruto has been saying for the last couple of days. You know, the Mambo ni Matatu phrase. You either, remove those cases in court, or you leave the country, or, you go to jail, or you go to heaven. So the back down it is, as the businessman Jaswant Rai withdrew cases that he had filed at the court. And Rai set in a motion a legal process that would appear to be the beginning of loosening of his stranglehold on Kenya's sugar sector. So millers have aggrieved by the AFA decision to extend Chemelil sugar license, and how litigants pulled Mumias Sugar down. So what happened exactly? Perhaps he was cornered as he withdraws all appeals on the Mumias Sugar case. West Kenya filed 3 notices indicating its intention to withdraw, and the billionaire businessman has withdrawn all pending applications at the Court of Appeal in the Mumias Sugar Company saga, days after President William Ruto issued a warning at his tour of the Western Kenya. Rise West Kenya also withdrew applications pending at the Court of Appeal days after he was allegedly abducted by unknown gunmen, to which he was later released. And after he was released, interestingly, a few days later, he's withdrawing all cases in court. So you be the judge of that. He's lost vicious sugar battle, now withdraws, follows in the footsteps of Dubai-based Vatox Resources Incorporation, which is also linked to the Rai group of companies. And so farms had challenged the 20-year lease awarded to Uganda's Sarai Group. Top of the page as well, Ruto's secret card against Raila's camp. His coalition has the numbers in-house. Ruto's secret card against Raila's camp, and that is something that I will very much talk about when we get to the Star, as that is the headline on the Star. And then former CS Macharia siblings fight for father's property. James Macharia, one of the most powerful cabinet secretaries in the administration of former President Uhuru Kenyatta, is at the center of a vicious inheritance dispute over a multi-million shilling property left behind by his father, the death of the patriarch Julius Macharia Ndugire on June 9th, 2017, without a will, triggered the succession court battle that has split the 7-member family. At the center of the dispute are bank accounts with an unknown amount of cash, 4 plots in Murang'a, 3 in Nairobi's Dandora, 1 in Eastleigh Section Eastleigh Section should be Section 7, and 1 in Laikipia. A story that is on page 4, the court battle between siblings over the father's property who did not leave a will behind. Court denies Mathe Wangara bail in drugs case. Magistrate finds that suspected drug peddler Nancy Kigunzo and her co-accused Eugene Gumba pose a flight risk because of their alleged involvement in narcotics trafficking. DPP nominee tells MPs why big fish cases were dropped. That is Renson Mulele, who is the DPP nominee. The cases were bound to fail since the witnesses had sworn on oath that they obtained evidence through illegal means. Mulele tells the National Assembly's JLAG committee. Also in the education sector, write-off debts of struggling universities, urges Machogu. No more KCP, KCSE exams in hospitals bed, those who fall sick to sit for supplementary tests. To the Standard, oh heavens, why Ruto is on the spot. Oh heavens, why Ruto's on the spot, out of order. Well, where else the president has come out firmly to declare a fierce war on corruption, he's walking a tightrope after his proclamations on how to slay the stubborn dragon appeared to border on extrajudicial methods, triggering furious protests from Kenyans. Mumia's case filed in court, the Magistrate Court, Republic versus Victoria Commercial Bank. At the High Court, there's the Kakamega Counties versus Ramana Rao, KCB, Mumias, Sarai Group, DCI, the DPP, the Attorney General, and the West Sugar. At the Commercial Courts, Insolvency, Kimeto and Associates versus Mumias, and there's also a case at the Court of Appeal. So there are 4 different cases at various courts: the Court of Appeal, the Commercial Court, the High Court, and the Magistrate Court. And that is the headline that is on top of the Standard, pardon me. So those are stories on page 4 and page 5 that paint a picture of just what it means to have a president that, makes remarks out in public, which a lot of civil service groups or civil society groups, a lot of other, institutions like the Law Society of Kenya, Kenyans as well, disagree with. So what are the exact words? Like I've said, it's either you leave Kenya, that is flight, either you go to jail or go to heaven. The powers of a Kenyan president. Well, threatening unjust jail or expulsion contradicts the president's duty to uphold human rights and law. Lack of clarity and potential disregard for legality raise questions or concerns. President's overreaches implies unilateral decisions undermining the judicial process. Failure to consult relevant bodies fuels concerns of unchecked powers. Ambiguity and the heaven reference leads to misinterpretations. The extrajudicial tone suggesting escape or going to heaven clashes with the president's duty to justice and human rights, implying misuse of authority. So those are basically what those words really mean, and just how it goes against the president's duty as stated in the Constitution. So according to the Constitution, what are the powers of the president as stipulated by the 2010 Constitution? Well, the head of state and government exercises executive authority with the help from deputy president, is the commander-in-chief of the Kenya Defense Forces, is the chairperson of the National Security Council, and is a symbol of national unity. What is his responsibility? To uphold and safeguard the Constitution, to protect the sovereignty of the Republic, to enhance national unity and diversity, to ensure human rights, freedoms, and the rule of law, and not hold any state or public office. What is the power of mercy? The president can grant mercy based on the advisory committee's advice. Mercy includes pardoning, postponing, substituting, or remitting punishments. And the advisory committees on the power of mercy includes the Attorney General and Correctional Services Cabinet Secretary. So Ruto boots law, he swore to defend on corruption. Top of the page as well, WorldCoin probe how state agencies slept on the job. WorldCoin probe how state agencies slept on the job, as well as revealed all you need to know on teachers' pay rise. So the pay rise will depend on the category. Are you a B5 group teacher, a C1 group teacher, a C2 group teacher. It also depends on the geographical area. What a teacher earns in Nairobi is not the same as a teacher that earns, their salary in Turkana or in Samburu. So they're very much different. And so the categories include a primary teacher, a secondary teacher, a lecturer as well, a secondary teacher, just depending on, are they level 4, are they level 2, are they level 3, and that is information that will, of course, interest a lot of teachers, as well as, new push for better maize prices, code of conduct, churches move to self-regulate, and in sports, FKF unveils new broadcasting partner. And then finally, to the Star, Ruto hidden cards in talks with Raila, Parliament to have the final say on the dialogue report, keeping in mind that, the President has the numbers in the National Assembly. The framework agreement says final reports will be tabled in Parliament and MPs to have last say on contentious issues. So those are some of the things that, of course, mean that the President has much more authority still on these issues that have been put up on the table. And also top of the page, Matthew Wangara denied bail in drug trafficking case. And we learned about what going through media, says Communications Authority Director Ezra Chiloba, as well as Kenya is ill prepared to handle elderly HIV and AIDS patients. So those are your headlines this morning on top of the pages. Ruto hidden cards in talks with Raila on the Star. Or heavens, why Ruto's on the spot on the Standard and back down on the Daily Nation. So at that point, allow us to take a quick break. But when we come back, we'll be getting into the conversation of the day. It's Friday, so we'll get artistic. I'll be joined by first runner-up, Mr. and Miss Kasarani, as well as the Chief Executive Officer and founder of Drake Events, who organizes pageantry and modeling events. So the modeling industry in the country, how is it so far? How is it doing? Are there more people that are embracing this as a career? And how do we make it better? And how do we also ensure that the media plays a role in ensuring that this is a lucrative industry? So that conversation coming up after the break. Our SMS line is 23993. Watch us on Facebook and on YouTube on EBN TV. Stay with us, don't go too far.
Through the morning rush and the buzz, find a voice you can trust, a voice of reason, a voice of direction, and a voice of hope.
Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Live. I'm Cynthia Nanjala.
And I'm Samia Dika. Rise and shine, folks. We hope you are ready for an energizing start to your day.
Absolutely. We are here to bring you the latest headlines and trending news stories from the world of politics,
business and finance, health and lifestyle,
agriculture and sports.
So grab your coffee, sit back and get ready for a fantastic morning of engaging discussions and news segments.
Join us through our social media handles, #The Morning Live. This is Morning Live, exclusively on EBN TV.
With great love and joy, I especially welcome you to worship with us at Redeemed Gospel Church Buruburu. This is a true family church, a true spiritual home. Redeemed Gospel Church Buruburu is home to exuberant prayers, deep and true worship. A house of prayer that will leave you feeling refreshed. Our first service starts at 7:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. and our second service starts at 10:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. On Wednesdays, we have our midweek service from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. and every Friday from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. we have our night of glory. This is the church you have been looking for. This is the place for your spiritual growth and maturity. See you this Sunday and karibu sana.
Every Saturday from 8:30 a.m.
But we should not be afraid to interpret scripture.
Get to know the story behind the Bible. Why was it written? To whom was it written? And what was happening when it was written? Understand, get to know, learn how to properly interpret the scriptures so that you're not deceived.
In the book of Revelation, and we have started to enter into the happenings because these are things that are going to take place hereafter.
Join Pastor
The day, if it's Friday, we do it artistic and we bring stories that are close to your heart. So one of the big industries in the country, or at least is developing, is the modeling industry. And that is why today I'm joined by beautiful guests and handsome as well, who are from the modeling industry. So I'd love to introduce my guests quickly. From my immediate right is Emmanuel Naftali. He is the first runner-up for Mr. Kasarani. Next to him is Emi Wambui, the first runner-up for Miss Kasarani. And then to my farthest right is Jonathan Wanyama, the Chief Executive Officer and founder of Drake Events. So they'll be telling us a little bit more about themselves, as well as this industry that they're in. How is it so far? Their experience, how has it been? What can be done better? Their aspirations and much more. So your feedback is highly welcomed. Our SMS line is 23993. Also watch us on Facebook and on YouTube on EBN TV. If you've got any questions, thoughts, comments, perhaps send them in and they'll be able to answer them just before the end of the broadcast. So how about we get started? So, welcome to Feel at Home. We're glad that all of you have made it.
Thank you so much.
All right, so I'd love just to get us all started by getting to know you guys a bit better. And I'll begin with you, Naftali. You're the first runner-up for Mr. Kasarani. But aside from that, of course, there's just the you. So tell us a bit more about yourself.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My name is Emmanuel Naftali, a student at Regional Center for Mapping and Resource. Currently, I am a land surveyor in the making. I am multi-talented. Among my talents, I draw, rap, cook, fashion enthusiast. I'm a YouTuber and vlogger. I have a slogan that says crucial, which helps me go through my days. Thank you.
All right, jack of all trades, you rap, you cook, and all that. Okay, Amy, to you, tell us a bit more about yourself.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm Amy Wambui. I'm a student pursuing education arts in science and history. I'm a model. I'm a fashion designer. I love cooking and I love dancing. And above all, I love God.
Wow, good. Cooking and dancing. We could be good friends, by the way. And then to you, Jonathan Wanyama, you're the Chief Executive Officer and founder of Drake Events. But aside from that, what more can we know about you?
Yeah, thank you so much. So, Jonathan Wanyama, but many know me as Drake, the CEO and founder of Drake Events Company. Yeah. Also, I'm a DJ. I also know how to cook. I'm a lawyer, of course.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, I'm also a businessman. Yeah, I only have a few things that I can manage.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that is out of the way, so now we'd love to get to why you're here today, because modeling is an art, and it is an industry that perhaps is slowly picking up if you compare to the big countries, whether it's US or UK. This is something that is still picking up. So I'd love to get to know just where did this passion really start, and I'll begin with you, Naftali. At what point did you either take the runway or you just got that interest for modeling?
Interesting question.
Yeah.
As I may answer, my passion for modeling didn't start. Okay, it started years ago when I was a little child.
Yeah.
discovered I like looking good. My mama used to tell me that we can get robbed because I used to dress well. See, so basically as I started dressing well, going to the streets, I used to dress casually, but my casual, I cannot get outside without looking unique.
Yeah.
You see. So as I joined my campus, RCMRD, it's located at Kasarani, I didn't know that I was destined for greatness. So as I started working with my friend, he introduced me to modeling. I didn't know. Okay, I was not that interested, but I said, let me just try something new. So as I entered modeling, I started modeling. I didn't know for a fact that I would become the next Mr. CTI. So my journey started there, and I'm grateful that I tried a new thing.
Yeah. So for you, Emmy, this is such a unique art that you have to have the passion for. At what point did you realize, oh, this is something I want to do, so I can actually catwalk, I'm actually loving fashion? What point in life?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I love fashion. Like, I love being neat and everything. So at school, I studied at Lukenya University. My roommate used to call me fashion designer. Anytime they want to dress, they were just telling me, Amy, do these clothes match? How should I dress? Those stuff. Then one time, it was a cultural day at school, so I just decided, let me go try it, modeling on the runway and see. Then it was the training time then, I just went and decided, let me train with my fellow students.
Yeah.
So I just started working and everybody were like, wow, you have a nice work.
Yeah.
Why did you not try doing modeling from the first day you came to this school? I was like, no, I'm not interested. Like, let me just do the fashion part. And then my friends inspired me and told me, just go on the runway. Then during the event, I just decided, wow, I'm going to model. And my mom was there. She's a very supportive lady, and I thank her for that. Yeah. Then after that, the journey commenced. I'm the first one as up Lukenya University.
Wow.
And then the Miss Kasarani was my third event. And then by God's grace, I managed.
There'll be more.
Yeah, there'll be more. I'll be on the runway. I won't give up.
All right.
Yeah.
So quite an interesting history there. So Jonathan, this is such a broad industry, and we understand that modeling is so diverse. It's not just about the runway. We've got the commercial models, we've got the Instagram models, as they're also called. So being the CEO of an events company, how is it working with the modeling industry? How has the experience been?
Okay, the experience so far, it's not easy. It's not easy. It hasn't been easy starting. First, for me to start doing modeling events, I wanted to give some upcoming, some youngins, at least a platform they can step on. Yeah, like if you see their stories, then you find out there are so many people want to try out, but they lack that person to hold them. So I decided to be like that helper. At least we started with the Kasarani, which is a community-based event. We go out there, look for, watch for models from underground, at least to give them that platform, that opportunity to come and experience what it is like to be on a runway. Yeah, so kicking off the journey, we started the first edition in 2019. Yeah, it wasn't that well off. We didn't manage to do the 2020, we did the 2021 due to COVID that time, which was a success 2021. Then 2022, we went slow again on things. But for this year's event was a success to me. It was a total success. But all through the journeys, all the editions we've been doing, we always get some negative responses from people. You can never satisfy everyone.
Criticism,
Yeah, so all the criticism, like this time round, it was way too much. But at least thank God we're managing. At least we're doing our part by helping people at least get involved in this, what's going on, this is what I can get involved in, this is what I can do. From that, we've seen, and then we got a lady, Miss Universal Empire Africa, who's Dr. Mochobo, who will be coaching, at least mentoring some of our models who are there, who participated. You see, that's an opportunity we've already created for people. Yeah.
So how has the growth been like? Because you started in 2019, and obviously with COVID, things halted a bit. But if you compare back then and the event that you just held recently, what are some of the takeaways that you'd say, oh, this industry is really improving?
First and foremost, we've seen okay, when I was starting, I didn't have that much help. But recently we had a lot of sponsors on our event. We also had our area MP support our event for the first time. It has never happened. So if you see an area MP, shout outs to him, Mr. Karauri, supporting us, it means that they have started embracing the youths and also supporting what they do. You see, because modeling, there are so many models out there, and some of them do it as a career, something that pays them. At least it feeds them, pays their rents and everything. Yeah.
So, Amy, he's mentioned something important. There are those who are doing it as a career, and I would presume that you're currently studying something different, aren't you? Yeah. So, you know, how is it juggling what you're studying for and this thing that has come up as a passion? And do you think that it's something that you'd slowly want to change to be your actual career?
Thank you. Yeah, I want to change it to like a real career. Like whatever I'm doing, I'm studying education, that is history and home science. And home science, there are a lot of categories, but most people just think home science is all about cooking. But but no, home science has a lot of things. It teaches you how to cook, it teaches you fashion design, teach you about interior designing. Like it has a lot of details inside. So like, I love being in the sewing machine. Like I love dressing people. I love expressing myself through fashion. And I just love fashion. Most of the time when I'm on the runways, like I have a walk. But all I'm there is just to showcase my clothes.
All right, Naftali, so modeling as a career is something that will be up for discussion for a lot of parents, you know. When you go home and you say, and they ask, you know, what do you want to be? A model. That is something that will be up for a long discussion. So is this something that you'd say, you know, eventually you just switch and just make it your career, your profession, something that puts food on your table?
Okay, thank you for the question. My take is, as long as you love something and you have passion for it, I'd urge you to do it, because there's no point of doing something you don't like. Trust me, I learned the hard way. So for me, as I can say, I might take it personally, and I can do modeling as a career, because I love modeling since I was a little child. And what Emily has said, I also like showcasing my clothes. Because it's when I feel free. And plus, do you know, a person doing work because he's asked to, and a person doing work because he wants to. The person who does work because he wants to will do it much more better than a person doing work because he's being supervised. So it depends. Personally, my mother, she didn't support me at first. It was down with a long discussion up until now.
I can imagine.
But later on, you know, our parents nowadays really need first to show them the results so that they can support you. So after I showed her that I became the Mr. Kasarani First Runners Up, Mr. RCTI. But the RCTI means Regional Center for Mapping and Resource. It's located at Kasarani. After I showed her the results, she started supporting me, including the suit I'm wearing right now. She's the one who bought it for me. So love you, Mom. Love you, Mom. So basically, as I can say, as long as you have passion, you go for it. Don't ask anybody for advice. You just go for it. As long as you're doing the right thing, go for it.
So, you know, with modeling, I can also imagine the expenses that come with it, Jonathan. You know, this is sort of like a lucrative industry. You know, what you show, you know, what you dress also is something that needs to show a bit of class. So how are the expenses like, particularly when you're planning for a pageant event? How is it like?
For that one, it's at times it's always hard, since most of the time we normally finance ourselves. We just get some few things done from our partners and sponsors. Like the recent one, the challenging part was we didn't have a grand prize for the event. And every model was like, hey, we're registering this, we need to have a grand prize for that. So many people pulled out. Yeah, they were just coming, hey, is there a grand prize? No.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, we're spending too much, but it's something that we've been working on. And one thing I always say is, ukienda venye mesema, ukienda kufanya kitu, do it out of passion, do it out of love. Usiende juu I'm targeting to get to that grand prize of something. You might go there targeting the grand prize, thinking that you're good, then you find there's someone who's way better than you.
Yeah.
You see, then you lose. So for that one, we've always tried our best. Tumekuwa tukingangana, at least tunafanya kitu tunasaidia watu nayo. Like the previous event yenye tumefanya Mr. and Miss Kasarani, the previous, tumekuwa na Zoe, who are among our sponsors. They will also be taking one of our models as their brand ambassador. You see, that's already an achievement we've made for one of the models. Yeah. Unaweza kuwa umekuja hapo umecontest, hujatoka na kitu, but unaenda upate sasa something yenye itakujenga upate hiyo kitu yenye ulikuwa unataka. We have the Light Fashion School who are one of our sponsors. They'll be taking 5 models to coach them, either photography, fashion, and any other thing course, a fully paid course. So you see, at least there unaweza pata ulikuwa ni model, ulipitia mangumu kutafuta hizo wares and all that, but unapata umekuja umekuwa funded, umepata something. We also have one of our models who was chosen by Lavachier Fashion. They'll be dressing her in every occasion she attends. You see, that's a plus for them. So me always say, hizo challenges zimekuwa, we understand the struggle every model goes through, kutafuta hizo wares, the expense and all that. But what we normally do, your time hatukuwa that stable. Unaona, juu hata time ndo hata MP kuja to support, alituambia want to see first what's happening. Because you know he's a new MP. It's our first time, so he was like, wacha anza nione kenye mnafanya, I'll support you with this what I have first, then ikiwa ni kitu mzuri inasaidia inakuza Kasarani, then we'll come through fully, you see. So at least for now we can say the last one we had some bit of challenges, but the going on, at least models watakuwa na spend sana, watakuwa at least wana spend na wakikuja, they get something.
So if you look at estimates, roughly, if you're planning for one pigeonry, how much does it cost roughly?
Okay, like the previous one we did, it costed us around, it was 74,000 and some cents.
Yeah,
and
you're financing it yourselves?
Yeah.
Wow. All right, so Emmy, as he said, models cater for most of the things for themselves, you know, the clothes they wear, because I can imagine there are different categories. If they say tradition, you have to be there. If they say dinner, you have to have that dinner dress. So how is the expense on your part, and how do you keep up with that?
Okay, thank you for your question. Yeah, for me, sometimes I tend to lower my expenses. I just buy material and just draft for design. For the other models, it's kind of expensive for them because they have to hire the clothes. And when you hire, it's kind of expensive. Some you have to buy. And sometimes it's expensive, then you come to an event and you're like, there is no the payback, and nobody knows the struggle you've gone through to have that money. Yeah, nobody knows. Sometimes parents may be there, sometimes parents might pull out. Unaweza kuwa let me do this, nione kama nitapata a living out of it. You don't know, in this country which you are in right now, you don't know. You can just do anything and you're you just shoot and just your life changes. Yeah, so sometimes it's challenging, but if you do something out of your heart, out of your passion, you never know. You never know what can come, but just have that faith. God is there and God knows why He has directed you to that position. Yeah.
So Naftali, for her, she does home science, she does sewing, so she has an added advantage. She can just buy materials and, sew her own clothes. But what about you? The suits come in handy. These various categories and the different clothing that you have to wear, and it can be quite costly. How do you keep up with that? How do you say, okay, now there's an event that is coming up in the next 3 weeks. This is my budget. How do I source this money?
Okay, thank you for your question. Now to answer it. For real, I do not undergo a lot of stress when it comes to looking for the wares, because basically I have creativity, and that's something that I've been told ever since I was small. Yeah. So when it comes to the wares, I tend to go simple but also unique. I like being unique. So let's say like a cultural wear, I can go to think twice. just shop for any cloth that has any animal imprint. Then I'll dress myself. Then it's up to me for the creative wear to improvise, of which I normally do. Yeah, that's all. Yeah.
All right, so Jonathan, assuming now the event has happened, so after the event now, what are some of these programs that you help these models to pursue, because they have to model for a purpose, what do they stand for? That's the question, really. So after this pageantry has happened, after that, what happens next for the models? Is it like, okay, now we are done, or what happens next?
Okay, after the pageantry, after the event is done, what we do with our models is we try and engage them in programs, something that we did with our last Miss. Okay, at times it's challenging for us. Like today, you've seen we've come with the first runners-up.
Yes.
We have a challenge with the Mr. and Miss, you see. So at times unapata mko na winners, but so unapata winners, they're not even serious with their titles. You see, that's why nowadays I've seen many pageant events, many event organizers stripping off the winners. Because if you're not serious for the cause, then you're not ready to support this cause there, Nini. So for us, this year, what is planned for them is we want to engage in youth programs around, that involves around Kasarani, engaging them with activities here like the cleaning up, visiting the children at homes. I also engaging like area MP whenever kuna hizi kanibasere na piano unapata at least hapo Mr. and Miss wako hapo wanasaidia at least to sell out their selves and also the brand and also the title. Yeah, at least we want this year to engage in a lot of programs. They'll be lined up, mtakuwa tu mnaziona leo nani wamekuwa hapa kama ni hizi mambo za climate action change, unapata they also engaging in that. Yeah. So this year we've set a lot of programs. We wanted first, at least after the event, we wanted them to relax first. Hata tulikuwa tumwambia tunataka kwanza mrelax, tukuje sasa tukae na nyinyi chini, tukae tuambie hivi na hivi. Ndo sasa tunataka for the 1 year yenye mtakuwa on drain, at least you leave an impact on something. Yeah, at least mkitoka hapo mnakuwa like I've done this, I've achieved this, I've helped this 1 2 3. Yeah, cause unaangalia kasa hii Kasarani kumekuwa hizo fight against hizi pombe haramu hizi. So unapata MCAs wakienda kustruggle on that, unapata sasa tunaanza kuengage youths on the benefits of avoiding such things and everything. Yeah.
All right, Naftali, so he's mentioned about branding, which is so important, not just for modeling, but for any industry that one is. What is your brand? What are you, when people look at you, what should they identify with? So he's mentioned a lot of different projects, but for you as Naftali, what would you like people to know you as your brand for?
Okay, for my brand, I'd like people to know that basically it's mostly creativity, being humble, no pain, no gain. And plus, don't have pride. That's one thing that modeling has taught me. All those things. Modeling has taught me those things. Yeah, and nobody will notice until you do your work. Don't fake it till you make it. Work till you make it. Yeah.
So, what would you say is your purpose? Would you stand for education? Are you standing for girl child? Are you standing for boy child? What is the behind theme for you?
Okay, the behind theme, basically I stand for everybody. Yeah, Mr. Bagua, I stand for everybody. I won't victimize anybody. Yeah. But all I say, I bring out the best in people to those who bring out the best in me. Yeah.
All right. So, Emmy, branding, personal branding is a big thing for everyone, whether you're in the showbiz industry, entertainment industry, or your industry. So what is that brand that you want people to notice you for, or to pick out and say, the moment we mention this, the first name that comes to our mind is Emmy Wambui? What is it?
Okay, about my brand, what I want people to know about me. 1 is being humble. Number 2, no pride. Number 3, work smart. Number 4, no pain, no gain.
Sounds like the same script, but yeah.
Like, you have to work so that you can gain something. You can't just sleep and then wake up in the morning and say, I want to be rich, and a miracle just happens and boom, you're rich. No, it can't happen like that. You have to work for it. You have to gain it. Yeah, so, and above all, always be with God. Always pray for everything that you do. He never sleeps and he never slumbers. He's always there for people.
So Jonathan, branding for modelers is something so important and so unique for them because they're all different. What they stand for is different. So as you organize for events and you're bringing in mentors or people that take them through coaching, what are some of the key things that you look out for from the person that you're bringing to either be a judge on that particular event or to come in and just be a coach or a trainer? What are you looking for?
Okay, for a judge, I always look at the discipline of that person, also the experience they have with the pageantry, and also we look at their when they send in their portfolios, we look at what has he achieved so far, what can he do. If he is judging our event or he or she is judging our event, akitoka hapo anaweza tusaidia nini kwa model wetu mmoja. Anaweza chukua model wetu mmoja ende amfanyie mentorship, at least guide amwambie this and this how it runs out here. This and this how you should conduct yourself out here. So those are some of the things we always look at. For the trainers, at least we look at the best. Someone who's well disciplined, well groomed, well behaved. We try tufanye kitu, then after that tunapata kuna issues. Sijui ule trainer alikuwa anafanya hivi, sijui ule judge alikuwa anachukua huyu juana na huyu. By the way, those are some of the things we always try in our pageantry too. Integrity, because for our brand, at least we tried always possible to protect our brand. So with anyone we engage with anyone we do business with, we have to look at them. We have to take a good look at their background to judge, is he what we really need? Is he someone we want to really associate with? So we normally check on everything that will at least try something that will also bring our brand on the right road. So Emmy, he said, they bring in people with a lot of discipline that will not be detrimental to the brand. So for you, of course, this being your third pageantry, and you've at least been in the industry for quite some time now, and you know some of these big names, and you say, I just want to be like her, she's my role model, I'd love her to mentor me. Who are these names?
Okay, thank you. First, my role model, Bridget Shigadi.
Bridget Shigadi, the actress?
The actress. She inspires me a lot, like her body size, and like she's a small lady with big dreams. She gives me inspiration, and her fashion sense. That's what draws me to her mostly. Like, I have a lot of role models. My mom is also my role model. Like, that lady, she always strives for the best. She does everything, like she works hard for what she has. She always tells us, like, do what you love, do what you feel like. It's from your heart. You never know what can happen to you.
Right, naturally, being a male model, is something that is quite unique in its own sense, because this is basically an industry where a lot of, it's female dominated, for lack of a better word. So there might be just one or two names that you pick up and say, they were able to, rise up above and beyond and just be themselves, be this kind of models. Who are these role models for you? Or somebody that you very much one day want to mentor you?
Okay, thank you for your question. I have 3 role models. The first one is Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan?
Yeah, that guy amazes me. The second one is T'Challa, the one who acted Wakanda, Black Panther. His real name is Chad Bodwick. He recently died, God rest his soul. And the third one is Chike. You know Chike, the musician. The one who sang with Simi.
No.
Okay. Depends with the genre of songs.
Is it crazy? I don't know him. Okay, go ahead.
I know, I'm very sure people know him. So those 3 guys are my role models because I love how they present themselves and they underwent the process of pain. Basically, nobody will notice until the jet is in the sky.
So actually, which brings in a very important aspect. What is it that male models should do differently that will help them, very much be vibrant in the industry, because you'll get a lot of pageantries and the female contestants are so many. Have you ever find yourself in a pageantry where the male contestants are less and the female contestants are many? So, what would you ask other male gender out there who want to do modeling, but they don't know where to start because they feel, this is a female industry?
Okay, thank you for your question. For that, I'll answer with this. Most likely, the male models, as I presume also me, it's basically arrogance. I used to have arrogance. I used to say modeling is only for ladies. A man should not model. Okay, the toxic masculinity, as I presume. But for real, mostly I'd urge people to express their emotions. You just go, do what you feel like doing. Basically, you just be you. Yeah. Let nobody tell you anything. Yeah.
Wanyama, as we almost wind it up because we're out of time, you've organized quite a number of events, and this is presumably a female-dominated industry, but the male needs support as well. So how have you been able to ensure that as much as you're organizing this pageantry, there must be a Mr. and Miss part? There must be a Mr. and Miss part. How has it been like?
At first, it wasn't that easy getting male models, because I remember our first pageant that we did in 2019. We had four gents, and we had around 10 ladies. Yeah, the first one wasn't that big. So going forward, at least we've tried to engage more in getting more gents, and by doing so, at least we try to engage like in activities, in everything we do, like Miss akifanya hii kitu tunahakikisha kama Mr. is also there, at least, and I feel like you're also involved in this. Kama ni like the interviews, bringing them out here, at least they get also that platform to come and talk about them. You see, alafu also, as he's mentioned about the arrogance with the gents. Some gents are always like, they're just full of themselves. But for me, I feel like the reason why ladies are into this more, it's because they know what they want. They're so passionate about this. But for the gents, wale wana feel like watanza kuwa you're gay or you're doing something. So maybe I guess those are the challenges maybe out there. But for me, I feel like arrogance is the biggest thing, and also ignorance. You find some male, mtu akona hiyo talent, but anaona like, what am I doing it for, you see? But for a lady, she's always like, hey, let me go show, because I want to show what I got. You see, I want to show my works. I want to bring out people out there to love me, watch what I'm doing, you see. So going forward, at least you want to try and also work with the winners for this edition, at least to try and create that impact. Tunataka ni kwenda kwa shule, tunaenda tuna create hizo awareness, mwambie hivi na hivi, this how it runs, kama ni wanaume hivi na hivi, no. Yeah, I've also seen many successful male models. At least we have the Mr. Climate Change Kenya. He's doing a great job. Recently, he was with the president in his Western tour. We've seen Mr. Kenya, Mr. World Kenya, I guess, Bruce. He's doing a great job. We've seen Mr. Nairobi, who was crowned recently. At least they're all working towards trying to unite these gent all models, you see. Yeah. So going forward, I'm sure many gents will also get involved with this. Once people stop bashing, sijui unawe ni gay, sijui unatembea kama. Yeah, so, and also those who are ignorant about it, you should stop.
Yeah, so as we wind it up, your first runners up, and I'm sure at one point you want to be the Mr. now. So I'd love to know about your aspirations. This is just the Kasarani one, but there's more. There's Mr. Nairobi, as you say. There's Mr. Climate Change Action. There's Mr. World Kenya. So for you, Naftali, what are these spaces you want to find yourselves in? And when you do, you say, okay, now this is actually working out for me. What are your aspirations?
Okay, thank you for your question. My aspiration is that basically you need to trust the process. Because I can say for myself, I'm also Mr. Rongai second runners up. That was like a year ago. But right now, I am Mr. Kasarani first runners up. Because
so next is the Mr.
I want to become Mr. World Kenya. Yeah, that's my aspiration. But what I learned from Mr. Rongai second runners up is that you should just trust the process. If it's not your time, it's not your time. Trust fate. Yeah, and plus work towards that certain goal, because ever since that day, nowadays I used to be lazy, but nowadays I'm not. I normally wake up at, let's say, 4:30. I do some exercises. The first 2 hours, it's to myself. I don't engage in social media. No, I work on myself. Basically, you should be working on yourself and trust the process.
Any aspirations, if you look at yourself in the next 1 year or 2 years, what crown would you want to have?
Okay, thank you for your question. I need to have a crown, I need to have such written Miss something, like I'm the first. Yeah, because all the pageants I've attended, I've been the first runners up. Yeah, so I just want to be Miss somewhere. And I want to see my brand, my company, my collection, people showcasing them outside. That's what will bring me joy mostly. Yeah.
Wanyama, as you wind it up, CEO and founder of Drake Events, you've organized quite a lot of events, but there's just that big dream pageantry that you'd say, if I get to organize that, I would have made it. As well as you can also talk about, the support and sponsorship that should come in as we wind it up.
My biggest aspiration so far is to host a big concert, a festival. I want to do a festival. I've seen, but the one thing about events, there's so many differences in events. There are so many events that are being done in Kenya that are not what they call themselves, you see. For a festival, it takes a lot to hold it. Yeah, so for me, my biggest aspiration is to hold something huge, something that will have, nataka kujaza Kasarani Stadium. Event itajaza Kasarani Stadium because I guess Kasarani has the biggest capacity. Yeah, so my biggest aspiration is to hold, even if it's a concert, bring an artist from outside. Yeah, but I do hold a big concert that will fill Kasarani Stadium. Then, sorry if the other question.
The sponsorship part.
The sponsorship. First, I want to thank all those sponsors. The previous one, we have to thank Zoe. They're also known as Flame Tree. We have to thank the Light Fashion School, the other one who has dressed me. We have to thank Trinidad Printers, Prolific Studios. We have to thank Tropical Heat brand. We have to thank Wanyama Safaris. There were so many. And also going forward in all the events that we're having, we welcome anyone, each and everyone. Any individual wants to take part, partner with us. Anyone wants to sponsor us, just reach to us via our email, drakeevents@gmail.com, or our Instagram page, drake_events. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, ladies, gentlemen, for coming in this morning. On my immediate right, I've been speaking to Emmanuel Naftali, the first runner-up for Mr. Kasarani. Next to him is Amy Wambui, first runner-up, Miss Kasarani. And we hope the next time I'll be doing, Mr. And then on the farthest right is Jonathan Wanyama, the Chief Executive Officer, as well as founder of Drake Events. Thank you so much for making the time to come in and just speak about yourselves, your aspirations, your dreams, your journey. How is it like? We really appreciate it, and we know that we've inspired some of the upcoming models to know where they should start from. So thank you so much for watching. You've been watching Morning Live right here on EBN TV. If it's Artistic Friday, we'll try to make it close to you as much as possible. So we hope that you've learned one or two things about modeling, or if you'd love to get into events organizing, Jonathan Wanyama is just the guy to go to. So if you've missed this, you can rewatch it once again on our Facebook and the YouTube page on EBN TV. Keep engaging with us throughout the day. I'm Cynthia Nanjala. Have a wonderful morning. Thank you for coming.